Wadau. Hey. Yo. We. Ati trilioni ngapi? Hey. Kenya. Oh. Tumefika hapo. Haya. Karibuni kwa Now Report right now with me Daddie Marto for this 6:30 edition. Cause wacha nikwambie hii Kenya mahali tuko, mahali tunaelekea. Enyewe Singapore hivi naona ni kama tutafika, lakini I'm not being skeptical, but tunakwama tu kwa maombi. Wacha tukwame tu kwa maombi na hope mambo yatakuwa salama. Kwa sababu President William Ruto this afternoon has signed the Finance Bill 2026 into law, sealing a major legislative victory for the Kenya Kwanza administration as it secured the framework to fund its 4.8 trillion shilling budget for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. He insisted the bill is targeting tax evasion, not taxpayers. It is targeting offshore tax schemes, not ordinary wages. And it is targeting non-compliance, not legitimate businesses. Hey.
Efficiency Assembly. They held extensive public participation.
This government serves the ordinary people, the farmers, the border riders, the mama mbogas, the workers, the entrepreneurs, students, and every young person striving for a better future. Let me begin with the Finance Act, which has sparked an important national conversation about taxation, fairness, and development. Let me state clearly, this law does not raise taxes on ordinary Kenyans. Instead, it improves fairness by strengthening compliance, closing loopholes, and ensuring that every person and business pays what is lawfully due.
Kuna mengi ambayo yanaweza semwa kuhusu hii finance bill and what the government is trying to do. But you know what? Wacha tungoje tuone. Because what is being sold as a hope or a dream might work as it is being anticipated. Ama pia if all flat-footed. That tunajaribu kutafuta wale hawa comply, ukute compliance sasa ndio imekuwa avoided na wengi zaidi. We can only hope. But for the sake of our country, we can only hope that it shall be well. It shall be well. Okay? Now, DCP leader, Rigathi Gachagua, has urged Kenyan youth to skip the planned June 25th protests, warning that state-organized violence and rogue infiltrators could hijack the demonstrations. Marking the 2-year anniversary of the historic 2024 Gen Z anti-finance bill protests, Gachagua cautioned citizens against risking lives, injuries, or business destruction. Akasema washikilie hapo na wachannel their grievances through the ballot in the 2027 general elections.
To appeal to the Gen Zs with a lot of humility and kindness to consider not going out to the streets. These are our children and grandchildren whom we need next year to help us liberate this country through the ballot. From the violence that has been planned by the state using police and goons, I have no doubt in my mind that lives will be lost. These are young children who have a great future and who need an opportunity to live their full life. I want to persuade them with a lot of humility that retreat is not surrender and strategy is not cowardice. I want to persuade them that there is a constitutional way of dealing with William Ruto next year. We don't have to go to the streets and expose ourselves to death and injury.
Listening to him I'm listening to a very wise elderly uncle, elderly brother, a father, talking to the young men. But then, unfortunately, with politics, you never know what the motivation is behind what one is doing. So for sure, the warning is very clear, because there is a possibility, especially because in 2024, that possibility was actual. And, people lost their lives because there seemed to be, the hiring of goons. And of course, there was definite death of, protesters. Lakini sasa, sahi, kuna wale watu wanasema, kuna sauti ambayo inasikika ni kubwa zaidi kuliko ya yule ambaye anaongea. I do not want to mention names or point fingers because I do not want to get into trouble. But the fact remains, with politicians, you can never be too sure what the motivation is. Because yes, people have the right to protest. People have, especially because the planning or organizing of the protest this year has been made clear that it is just a peaceful commemoration of the ones that we had lost. Tukifika huko, wezi jua vitu zinaweza enda aje. And that is why Rigathi Gachagua is warning. But all I can say is I hope that the day is going to sail smoothly. Unfortunately, watoto imebidi wamekimbizwa waende midterm haraka before your date ifike, because hatuwezi jua vile kutaenda. Hey, Kenya yetu, hakuna matata. Hakuna matara. Lakini kuna matara kwingine na ni Kenya pia, because Mombasa's bar and restaurant owners are saying a big fat no to the new Tobacco Control Amendment Bill. Traders complain that processed tobacco licenses are a total buzzkill for their wallets, especially since they are already drowning in local permits. They want the extra costs will just drive the tobacco business into the black market. There's also major drama over the public participation meeting scheduled for June 25th at Parliament buildings. Business owners point out that the intense security expected, getting inside to voice an opinion, will feel like trying to sneak into an exclusive VIP club. The Senate has already passed the bill with tweaks, and it's now heading to the National Assembly. Mombasa traders are demanding the government take the show on the road to other counties before turning this bill into law.
Tunaomba bunge kuweza kuzingatia mambo yafuatayo: kupatia muda wa kutosha kwa kweli wa kujirekebisha, ambapo adabu kuanza kutekelezwa, si kuanza tu kupea watu onyo ambayo hawaelewi ama mambo ambayo hawawezi kuelewa. Pia kurahisisha taratibu ambazo wanabiashara wadogo na wale wakati, isiwe tu lazima mtu ama mwanasheria mwenye hawezi kuelewa sheria hizo. Pia kufanya ushirikishaji wa umma katika maeneo yote ya Kenya, si tu Nairobi peke yake. Wapwani pia wanafaa kupewa nafasi ili waweze kuzungumza ama ili waweze kutoa maono yao kuhusu
Tunapinga mswada wa tobacco. 1 2 3. Tunapinga mswada wa tobacco. 1 2 3. Tunapinga mswada wa tobacco.
Watu ni?
Acha mapepe. Tulitandika. Ingi. Ile itoka head load. Hebu. Mimi hapa ni tunapinga mswada wa tobacco. 1 2 3. Tunapinga mswada wa tobacco. 1 2 3. Tunapinga mswada wa tobacco.
Si ati ninacheka, because of course wanapinga mswada wa tobacco, lakini kuprotest na Kiswahili jamini kuprotest na Kiswahili ya sound kama kuprotesti. Una imagine reject, alafu tunapinga. Una take time hapo, by the time unapinga na kureject. Niache, nitachoma, wacha niwache. Lakini kwa sababu wanapanga kupinga and the public participation is happening on the 25th of June, we hope that all goes well, for sure. All right, now business came to a grinding halt in Banana Town today, but not for the reason you'd think. Women and traders in Kiambaa constituency completely shut down their shops to hold a massive prayer rally over a major crisis in the community. That is the dramatic rise of illicit brews, turning local youths into absolute zombies. Fed up with the situation, residents are calling out the Kiambu County Alcohol Licensing Board, demanding they do some serious actual homework and inspect these wines and spirits joints before giving them the green light. They are also begging the government to recruit more counsellors to help rehabilitate those who have turned to the bottle due to tough economic times. Kiambaa Sub-County Police Commander Mwan Zhao also chimed in, urging locals to share first-hand intel with cops. In fact, he gave them a total green light to execute citizens' arrests on any rogue brewers and hand them over to authorities. So it's official. Time to clean up the neighborhood.
Naambia mama ndio usikie uchungu ya security na ya watoto. Na nikauliza wamama pale kwa kanisa, tutanyamaza mpaka lini? Tutanyamaza mpaka lini? Inabidi tukuje tukae pamoja, tushirikiane pamoja, tuseme hii ndio njia ya kwenda. Asante sana mheshimiwa. Tuseme hii ndio njia ya kwenda na tuende pamoja kama timu. Kitu kifanyika hapa sio polisi wamefanya ama sio jukumu ya polisi. Ni sisi wote. Kujeni haraka mseme kuna kitu inataka kufanyika. Si ati imefanyika, kuna kitu inataka kufanyika mahali fulani, tuchukue hatua mara moja. Na serikali imewapea jukumu ya kuarrest mtu yote ukimuona na makosa. Sheria imekupatia hiyo jukumu. Mnashika, mnaarrest nyinyi wenyewe and then mnaleta polisi, tunafanya kitu inaitwa rearrest. Si ni kweli? Yes. So sio kumaanisha you are toothless dogs. Nyinyi mko na jukumu.
Tunamsikiza, tunamuelewa. Now, wacha tupige caveat kidogo, niulize hii swali. Ukichukua simu yako, uingie hapo hivyo Gemini ama ChatGPT, uingie kwa app yako ya AI, ulize tu maswali zako, rahisi tu unapata solutions mbio ni nini. Hiyo kwako, process yako kutoka kwako hadi kwa hiyo simu ni rahisi. But ndio hiyo information ifike hapo kutoka kwa zile vitu ambazo zinatengeneza hizo solutions to AI yako, unadhani hali inakuwaga aje? Now, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is calling out big tech, demanding that major AI firms come clean about their massive environmental footprints. Speaking at London Cinematic Action Week, while Europe settlers under yet another major heatwave, Guterres launched the AI Environmental Transparency Initiative. He wants tech giants to publicly disclose the massive amounts of electricity, water, and land their data centers are devouring. To put it into perspective, a recent UN study revealed that the data centers consumed more power last year than all 10 countries on Earth. Yes, than all but 10 countries on Earth. And it's getting even thirstier. The UN chief didn't stop at that. He's also pushing for a strict global crackdown on methane emissions and urging governments to heavily tax the windfall profits of oil and gas giants. Guterres warned that the world needs to dump its hydrocarbon addiction and transition to cheaper renewable energy before we cross a catastrophic point of no return.
Such as those of the US government at the moment.
And I'm calling on every major AI company to measure and publicly disclose the full environmental impact of its systems, carbon, water, and land footprints, and commit to power every data center with renewable energy by 2030. No more hidden costs, no more shifting the burden onto those least able to bear it. It's time to come clean. If AI is to help build a better future, it must be honest about what it costs us now. Crisis number one, climate chaos, is accelerating before our eyes. We have just lived through the 11 hottest years ever recorded. And today, this city and far beyond are experiencing the hottest day of the year with higher temperatures to come. London isn't just calling, it's cooking.
Now, I'm not sure if I was very clear, so let me just clarify again. So there are 10 countries that use a lot of water and power and electricity. You know, water and electricity, okay? There are 10 countries that use a lot of it, okay? So now, the 11th in the list is the accumulation of just AI. So from number 10, AI peke yake ni kama the 11th country. And then all the other countries in the world, they have not used more water and power than just AI by itself. Nikungori, I understand why Guterres is concerned. Because we might be building ourselves for now, and then we destroy our world for the future. Hey, kwa hivyo zile vitu wanasemaga about the dystopian future, that AI ndio likuje karibu mambo. Wacha nisikuwe prophet of doom. Fingers crossed that all goes well. Hey, tumecross fingers leo sana. Anyway, National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has challenged young Kenyans to steer their own destinies through education, entrepreneurship, and agribusiness, while issuing a stern warning against letting themselves be manipulated by selfish politicians as instruments of street violence. Speaking during a meeting in Tongaren constituency, leaders and elders, Wetangula urged the youth to view education as a personal investment and to reframe agriculture as a lucrative business opportunity rather than waiting for employment. Concurrently, the speaker defended Western Kenya's aggressive push for national resource, stating that the region unapologetically deserves its fair share of development funding for supporting the Kenya Kwanza administration, whilst reassuring residents that local infrastructure is on track following the revival of the long-delayed Naitiri-Misihu Road project under a new contractor, with completion slated for December 2026.
Thank you, Chair. Mheshimiwa Speaker, we are here.
And I encourage you, my good young friends, be the masters of your own discipline. Because at the end of your education, the beneficiary, number one, is yourself. You are not in school because of your father or your mother or anybody else. It is the self. After the self, then you will help others. Kuomba pia mupande kahawa. Kahawa serikali inaleta seedlings za free. Huyu chikata anazalisha seedlings. Serikali inanunua kwake na kugawia wananchi for free. Hata mimi ameniletea, ninapanda eka 60 kwa shamba yangu hapa ng'ambo, ili niweze kupata mapato hapo mbeleni. So nyinyi kama wakulima, diversify from cane to maize to milk to coffee to macadamia to whatever you can, so that we can be able to support each other.
Na hadi hapo tumetamatisha kipindi chetu cha leo. Natumai mtaungana nasi kwa habari TV47, habari ambazo zinakuja baada ya dakika kadhaa. Lakini hadi hapo sisi tumemaliza yetu. Ninaharibu, ninahema, si nimemaliza. Si yangu nimekafunga. Si mkae poa.